Hello, everybody. Once again, my name is ozmourn, and today we're going to be speedrunning Lightmatter. Lightmatter is the first speedrun for me that I really took seriously, and so I always love showing it off at marathons, and I'm just excited to show it off here. Before we begin, some extra stuff. We're going to turn on speedrun stats, just in case this PBs, and developer commentary, we're actually going to turn that on later. Believe it or not, there is a specific strat that does involve that. This is a first-person puzzle platformer similar to the stuff that I've been playing before. And so level selection, we're just going to go straight into level 1. Now, time will begin when we enter the first level. So 3, 2, 1, go. Perfect. So, Lightmatter, any percent no major glitches. What is this game about? What is it like? How are we going to do it? So, Lightmatter is a first-person puzzle platformer highly inspired by games like Portal. And the first thing that we're going to be doing is actually just going straight through the first two levels, level 1 and 2, which are meant to be like tutorial sequences that will teach you this basic mechanics of just jumping, pressing buttons, moving, all that jazz. The catch about this particular game is that the any shadow will kill you. For the most part, there are certain exceptions to that, but we'll get into that when we get into that. But for the most part, all the shadows will kill you. If you step into a shadow, you will die. The main catch here is that in the first two levels you can't die, even if there is a shadow. This is meant to be a tutorial section where you technically cannot die. You're not meant to touch any shadow here. Any shadow that you do end up touching is like just it's unintended, but you cannot die here no matter how hard you try. Um, and now we're gonna go straight into level 2. And we're going to introduce to our primary antagonist, whose name is Virgil, voiced by David Bateson, who, if you're not familiar with David Bateson, he plays Agent 47 in the Hitman series. And I've had the pleasure of interviewing him twice. Like, twice. It's great. And so um, that's um, that's Virgil right here, our faceless protagonist, or faceless antagonist, I should say. But kind of like the GLaDOS of this game, as one would say. But right here, we're just going to go straight into this next room. And here, and it's like another particular instance in which kind of just goes to show this is meant to be a tutorial section, because like according to the game's rules, like this shadow should definitely kill you, but it doesn't. Like there's just no kill plan programmed to that. Like all of that, there's no kill plan programmed into it at all. Whatever. And like it's literally it is impossible to die in levels 1 and 2. Um, some nice movement here to grab this button. And we're going to go straight down through here. Right here to my left is the scientific wonder that is Lightmatter. Thank you, Virgil, for clarifying that. But we're actually going to be coming a lot throughout, coming back to Lightmatter a lot throughout the game, like this particular section right here. But yeah, that's actually it. That's the end of the run. Do not like just ignore the death counter, ignore the 50-minute estimate, ignore all that. Ignore all that. We don't need to deal with any of that right now. This is we're just gonna go up the elevator. There's nothing that's gonna go wrong. There is no way this elevator will crash in a way that should kill us but won't. There's nothing bad that's gonna happen. Absolutely nothing bad is gonna happen. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. That's it. Nothing bad. But yeah, but of course something bad does have to happen, because the game has the game, the plot has the plot. But yeah, that is the end of level 2. We're gonna straight into level 3. Oh, and of course the speedrun stats also show the in-game time, which check out load screens as well. Um, so Lightmatter, title screen. Let's go. The first thing you want to do, the moment you get up, is just jump and hold left. And from here on out, all the shadows will actually kill you. Again, specific exceptions, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And you want to time yourself pretty well here, because you don't want. Ooh, Okay, I need to go a bit quicker than that. A bit quicker than that. I'm just gonna be safe here. There we go. Perfect. All right. But now we're gonna go straight into level 4, and level 4 is a level that introduces our first skip in the run. And the way you do it is by this bridge up here. You can put it to the right and then to the left and then to the right again. And if I jumped a bit too early there, but you're able to have just a little bit of delay when it comes to this bridge, like so, and jump to the other side before the bridge covers up the bottom bridge with shadows. But now we're going to go straight into level 5. And there is a puzzle here. Believe it or not, there is a puzzle here. What it is, we'll never know. But there is a puzzle there. So we just do that. Now we're going to go straight through here. And now we're going to introduce 2 lamps. Lamps are heavy and clunky. And they really are, because you move slightly slower if you hold a lamp in your hand, and you cannot jump with a lamp in your hand. So you want to hold lamps as little as possible in this game, even though they are a source of light, and they kind of help you solve a lot of puzzles in this game, ironically. But in the speedrun, you want to be able to just use them when necessary, and that is it. Here in level 7, we have the introduction to our first small glitch we've allowed in this run. Again, this is no major glitches, so we allow certain things. We put this particular lamp, like we put it onto the vent, which is like a slanted object. Whenever you stick a lamp into like a slanted object like that, you're able to just jump on top of it. It'll give you a huge boost upwards, and we're able to use it to our advantage by jumping over like jumping over that section and avoiding a lot of platforming, puzzle solving. Here in level 8, there's not a lot to say, only because like there is just movement. Although one of the more satisfying things about this game is the movement. It's again the first game that I took really seriously when it comes to speedrunning. I highly recommend anyone who's looking for something that's more beginner friendly in a speedrun. Because another thing about this run is that like it's pretty much all skill. Like there's no RNG in this run, and so like I highly recommend it for everyone who's trying to like get into something for the first time. Because it's a high skill ceiling, low skill floor kind of game. The movement that I just did right now, we did it fast enough to skip half a cycle with this object, this mineral decontaminator, as the game was calling it, in order to skip half a cycle of it closing, open and close. And now we're here in level 10, and we get introduced to the concept of leaving lamps in the dark. A lot of the time, we get told that the shadows only eat up organic material, which means pretty much anything that is living. But of course, the lamps are not living objects; they just produce light. So you can just leave that one in the dark and move this one over, and use the light from this lamp in order to come over here. And here's a jab at Aperture Sciences. Yes, right there is a wonderful jab to Portal with the Blessing of Val. They are in like the special thanks of this level. This is a cutscene that's going on. It does not matter if you die here. Like there is no way you can lose time. But I just like to jump over here because this bridge just collapsed was meant to bring us over here. But there's of course nothing over here because you're not meant to be here in the first place. But you can just die and it'll respawn you back. We just have to wait for this cutscene to end before we get into the rest of the run. All right, wonderful. Now we're gonna go straight into level 11. Level 11 is like a cycle-based level. It should be in theory really easy, but for whatever reason there was like a point in my speedrunning in which I would consistently die to level 11. I do not know why. But there's really no reason for you to rush, particularly because there's no way to get a fast cycle out of these platforms that are moving back and forth. Like it feels like you should be able to get a fast cycle before this platform ends, but like you can't. I've tried. You want this lamp to be down here in the shadow, so you can click on the other side. Now we're going to face forward right here. And we're going to... Ooh, I was really afraid that wasn't going to work. We're going to actually exit level the moment we get into level 12 and then retry, because that'll lead us to a checkpoint that is past an elevator sequence right there. Every level has a designated start and stop point, and the designated start point for this level is after the elevator sequence. We're going to have this guy face us that way so that there's light on this rail, and we can just grind across it. That is a lot harder than it looks because you have to balance yourself. The game is consistently trying to push you off left or right. Now we're here at level 13, and we are introduced to Ellen. Ellen is kind of like the voice of reason when it comes to this level. It's a very huge contrast as to Virgil. Right here in level 13, this is essentially the intended solution, but quick. And we're going to use this lamp over here and point this lamp upwards. And one thing you're going to see here is that technically there is light here, or there is shadow here, but there's not enough shadow for us to die. The reason that works is something I'm actually going to explain later where it's a bit more appropriate, but I want you to keep that in mind. And now we're going to bring this lamp, and we're going to actually perform a skip here in level 14. We're going to be lining ourselves up with a very specific spot on this platform so we can ride with the platform and not get pushed off of it. And we're going to line up this this lamp to face this direction so it lights up this ramp over here. And we're going to use this lamp to light up this hallway right here. Right. Now we're going to go back to Virgil. And we're going to use our full cone of light here to activate both of these switches at the same time. Student, thank you. That is the end of level 15. And we're going to go straight into level 16. And this particular section of the run is something that I find to be so like fun, because a lot of the movement is really good. Use this guy right here. And we're gonna make use of the fact that when you like pick up a lamp, the light kind of just snaps in the direction you're facing, and so like you don't have to turn it. And so we can immediately use that to our advantage by jumping onto that piece of light before the door closes. And we're going to use the first lamp to light up both sides of that hallway right there, so we can just immediately avoid a few lamp placements and solve that puzzle. Level 18 and 19 have pretty much the same skip, but used in 2 different ways. And we're going to be lighting up this lamp in order to bring this lamp across, because we want to see this guy over here. And we're going to be lining up these this lamp across these outlets on the wall, and you can see that they just barely have enough light on those tables in order to light ourselves up and not kill us because there's not enough shadow there. What we're going to be doing right now is literally like the exact same thing, but on these pipes instead. And that particular jump is a lot more difficult than you think it is. We're gonna do another skip here in level 20, essentially lining up these this guy right here. And oh, come on, don't fall down. Come on, I just want to grab this guy. There we go, perfect. It took a few tries, but we're good. Essentially, what I just did right there is you don't have to be on the same like height plane as a lamp in order to collect it. You just have to like be within range of it, and so use that to our advantage. And skipping a few stuff right there. Right here, we are strafing with the lamp, and strafing with the lamp actually is something that a lot of people, when they were playtesting this game casually, didn't realize that they could do. But we do it twice in this level. And those are like intended things. As is the nature with no major glitches or glitchless runs. There is like a lot of stuff that is quote intended, but just with quick movements, and we rely a lot more on like skips than we do glitches. And thankfully, this game has a myriad of skips to choose from. Now we're going straight to level 22, which is like the biggest level of the game, with the exception of the very last one. It's the biggest puzzle in the game, I should say, because the last level isn't explicitly a puzzle. We're going to have 2 lamps that are going back and forth on 2 platforms right here. We're going to line this lamp up specifically so that it faces a very specific direction, because we're going to come back to this place later. And now we're going to jump up. And now the top floor is similar. There's still 2 lamps, but instead of having 2 platforms go back and forth, we have 4 platforms going in a full rotation. So they have similar solutions, admittedly, but they do work slightly differently, so you need to make sure that you're cognizant of all of the places that the lamps are moving. There we go. And now we are going to another section in which we have to wait a little bit for this cutscene to end. This elevator is going to come down, and it's totally not going to crash. Totally not going to crash. Let's have some coffee while we're at it. And of course it did crash, because why wouldn't it? Game has to game. Plot has to plot. Perfect. This is the second floor, or the first floor, level 22, that we're going to be redoing, but doing backwards. And now, going into level 23, we actually have an interesting skip right here, because it's pretty much free. What we're going to be doing is actually going back into developer commentary. No, turn back on spirit stats, come on, pretty soon. And then turning it back off after collecting it. The reason that we do that is because we want to collect the developer's commentary, because Virtual has like a line there, a piece of dialogue that lasts like 27 seconds. And so if you turn on the developer commentary and then collect it, you are able to just collect it right then and there without having to worry. And it'll cut off Virgil's dialogue and it'll open the door immediately, because that door at the end will not open until Virgil is done talking. However, usually in a setting in which we were grinding, we would just turn the developer commentary on immediately from the beginning of the run to save like the smallest amount of time. Now we have photon connectors, or orbs on a stick, as we like to call them. But these photon connectors have photon crystals in them, and as long as they are within range, or within eyesight of a mother source, it can be an infinite range really, but as long as they are within line of sight of a mother source, they can connect to each other, and we have a beam of light that is always underneath us. So these guys are going to be used a lot more throughout the run. We're about halfway through the run. Oh, they accidentally... Okay, come on. There we go. Perfect. Accidentally stopped the timer. Sorry about that. Dang, did I stop the timer 3 minutes ago? Okay. Well, thankfully, LiveSplit was smart enough to know that I did not mean to do that. And so it just continues the time. And we're going to really push the limits as to how far these connections can go. If you see like a beam of light turn red, it's because the connection between those two beams, or those two orbs, or between those two sources is about to break. And you can use that to your advantage sometimes by knowing how far you can push the limits of certain orbs. Right here in level 26, we're going to go to another we're going to go to another skip. We want to put this photon crystal right here. Move it across this fence so that it connects to the mother source on the other side. Oh, okay, let's try that again. Perfect. And one interesting thing about this is that this fence is covered in shadow, but it doesn't kill us. Why might that be? Because the way that the shadows in this game work is that if you there are points around the player's feet that are programmed around the player's feet that if enough of them are covered up by shadow, the game will kill you. But for that particular section and a lot of other particular sections in the run that you may have noticed already, we are able to take advantage of the fact that there is not enough shadow there because not enough points on our feet are covered up by shadow to kill us. Level 27 itself is kind of a level in which it looks like I'm going in circles. Because I literally am, but like at the same time, it's because I know what I'm doing. I know, or you know, like I already know how the solution for this puzzle works. But one thing you do want to make sure is that the photon, like the photon connectors are connected to at least one thing at all times. Usually you want to, when you turn like a corner, you want to wait until it connects to another, the other photon crystal, uh, in order to keep going. So otherwise, it'll just disconnect entirely and you'll die. Perfect, level 28. We have another skip right here. We're going to put that orb right there. And this orb right here, it doesn't really matter where you put it. I'm going to take this orb, bring it up here on this bridge. And we're going to put it right here, and it'll just barely give us enough. Ooh, oh! Should have moved it a little bit more forward. Where does that respawn me? Oh, right here? Okay, that's fine. I've almost never died in that place, honestly. Let's see.
Do you want to hear a secret? Aperture Science
Ooh,
has
come
an
on.
artificial intelligence prototype.
There we go. That's what we want to see.
They tested it by having it create the perfect cake recipe. It succeeded.
Level 29, unfortunately, is a level that we are essentially doing the intended solution, but fast. It is the level that is the slowest, like, without, like, even though, like, of all of the levels in which you do the intended solution, but fast, this one's, like, one of the longer ones, unfortunately. There's no way we have found to speed this up, other than just good movement, which is an unfortunate side effect. Although, technically, there is a particular glitch that you can do, but it's not viable for full game runs. Because it involves a glitch known as object displacement, in which you like quit to main menu and then quickly restart the level, one after the other, and so all of the props in the level will return to their same place, but you will remain in the current place that you are at, and that's because you quit the main menu and then restart the level. The game thinks you're in level 1, so whichever loading screen you do, the game will wrong warp you to level 2. And unfortunately, that is something that you just will not be viable for in-game, for like full game runs. It is viable for like ILs though, which is nice. Now we're gonna go across here, taking this lamp and finishing the level, or this orb and finishing the level.
Assistant, by now you must understand the significance of Lightmatter. So it's about time you learn how Arthur almost destroyed it. 3 months.
This is another level in which we kind of do like the intended solution, but fast.
The board of directors behind my back. He proved to them that Lightmatter was causing minor side effects. It was humiliating.
You want to make sure that your brain isn't like going on autopilot, because you have to press this button a lot in order to actively move these across.
While we were investigating the matter, one of my employees discovered his plan to overload the core and destroy the entire facility. Luckily, James and I stopped him before it was too late. Arthur paid for what he did, but nothing can redeem betrayal.
Alright, and that's in level 30. And level 31 and 31 is kind of just a transitional area between 30 and 32. There's not a lot to say, although, again, I will do the joke in which there is a fake out and I act like we're gonna be sent to safety, but in reality, there is something that prevents us from doing so.
Goodbye. You know, Assistant, I'm starting to enjoy your company and the qualities you possess. You are persistent, replaceable, and silent.
We're just gonna move across this bridge to safety, and there is no way, shape, or form that this is gonna be detrimental to us. But of course, there has to be something detrimental to us. We fall down the bridge.
Need to handle bridges with more finesse, Assistant.
Apparently, I do. And now we're gonna be like slightly slowed down because like we fell from a huge distance and or huge height, and the game acts like we're injured or some kind. But like the moment that we get into like the next level, we walked it off and we're back at full speed.
So stick to the exit signs. We're in this together. See you soon.
Level 32 is another skip that's kind of difficult to do, but we'll see how it goes. Again, pushing the limits of these photon crystals and their connections between each other. Putting that guy right there. Thank you. And then we're going to connect it on the other side. And we're going to do like a more of a safety strat, honestly, by moving that first orb back and have a more straight line between the two, so that we don't have to worry about the connection like disconnecting by any chance. A fast rail grind right there by using the momentum that we have from the platform and keeping it with us as we rail grind. Now we're going to go straight into level 34, which is a level that is mainly story based. There's not a lot of puzzle solving, but I will say there is going to be a huge photosensitivity warning coming up in about 30 seconds. If you are in a part of the world in which it is nighttime when you're watching this in a dark room, turn down your brightness, or if you are photosensitive, look away. I highly recommend looking away for just a few seconds. I'll let you know when it is time to look back.
Assistant, get out of there. That's Arthur's... Oh, never mind. It's not safe. Hold on. I'll open the nearest exit door for you. Do not touch anything.
Alright, look away now. I'll tell you when it's safe to look back.
Said? You're not qualified for that. Do you remember when I told you about the power of Lightmatter? You are currently quadrupling that power.
Alright, wonderful. You can look back now. Now we're in the shadows, and surprise, some shadows are not scary. It's just the tar-like shadows, as they say in the game, that are deadly, like these ones. We overloaded the core, which allowed us to discover something new about Lightmatter. By overloading it, we were able to get rid of all the deadly shadows, and we're going to come back to that later. Right now, we're going to be doing level 35, 36, and 37. The final 3 levels before the very last one.
That explosion. Understand that blast injuries can be quite serious. They can cause cochlear damage, retinal failure, and most commonly, hallucinations. Keep that in mind. Now, you must do as I say. We need to fix the shadow.
This is another level, unfortunately, you're just kind of like doing this intended solution but fast. Which again is just like the nature of no major glitches and glitchless runs in general. But the one thing you want to do is make sure that for the most part, that the orbs are always connected to at least 2 sources at the same time.
To the cause would impress me.
Now we're going to go into level 36. There's actually multiple solutions for level 36, but what we're doing right here is what is proven to be the fastest one.
You'll be writing about Arthur. Do you know how many people he would have killed if he succeeded in overloading the core?
And this is another one that is essentially just like movement
290 workers in the
and the quote intended solution.
slide would have killed another 80 at the surrounding outpost. In total, 370 dead, all by Arthur's hand.
Blue's lamp here, we're going to bring it across. Timing our jump, being a little risky here. Shining this lamp so that we can get across here, and boom.
You are approaching the core. When you get there, control yourself. I know failure.
Level 37 is another level that has multiple different solutions, and I can assure you that the solution that we're doing right now is not an intended one. We're going to put that orb right there. We're going to take this, we're going to take this lamp, shine it right there, take this photon crystal, and we're going to put it in a very specific spot to make sure that the connection between these two orbs are as far apart as we can possibly make them. I'm going to shine this light right here so we can reach the end. And this orb, thankfully, I put it just as enough, just far enough away from the sensor, in which we can walk across without activating the sensor and removing the bridge underneath us. Now we're going to go into level 38, which is the final level of the game. But we're going to retry. We're going to skip an elevator sequence right here, because the designated start point for this level is right here. So that skipped a 2-minute cutscene, but unfortunately, we also have to go through another 2-minute cutscene right here. Level 38 is, there's no more puzzles up in the game, it's just a giant escape sequence that we're going to see how hopefully we fare well with. But yeah, we just unfortunately have to wait in this line, or in this room for this cutscene to end. Theoretically, if you can somehow get up on this camera right here, you can die and then the game will just end the cutscene, and you can exit here earlier. And so you can like try and do it sometimes, but you really just don't get enough hype to. Now we get introduced to Ellen again as she explains to us how to get rid of Lightmatter. And that is the end of the cutscene. We're going to go straight into level 38. The actual level 38.
Are you already that bored? What exactly are you expecting to achieve?
So as I said, it's just like one giant escape sequence. However, one thing that I will say about level 38 is that it's the first level in which not like the whole thing is not loaded in at once. It's loaded into chunks. For example, this first chunk right here, um, we are trying to get a fast cycle on this section. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, but it doesn't lose too much time. Only loses like a few seconds. And the reason that it's actually good that this level loads in chunks and all at once is because there's a lot of cycles in this game, and generally speaking, um, these cycles, um, all these cycles have like fast cycles on them. However, since the game is loaded into chunks, just because you miss one fast cycle does not necessarily mean you're going to miss the next one. And also, just because you get one fast cycle does not necessarily mean you're going to get the next one. Right, there we go. Just barely getting enough time to grab onto that platform. Ooh, just barely making that fast cycle as well. I'm gonna wait here for safety. I mean, there's really no way to speed up this cycle anyway, so. Oh, dang. Unfortunate. We can just start this over. We'll have to wait here, but that's perfectly fine. And from here on out, anytime that I pull one of these levers right here, I am gonna like give a photosensitivity warning, only because like you do tend to get like bright flashes of light because we are overloading the core every time that we do that. So just gonna give a few warnings when it's necessary. This one isn't that bad because we can look away, but still. Thankfully, we got that fast cycle. From here on out, Virgil has officially figured out our schemes and is actively trying to kill us, although he's very slow at it, I will admit. We're a spy now because our identity has changed a lot throughout the game. At first, we were like a tourist, and then we were a journalist, and then we were a health inspector, or vice versa, I should say. But now we're a spy. Here's another skip that's pretty interesting. I did say there were certain exceptions to how all the shadows can kill you. This is one of them. There's just no kill plan on these guys, although I messed up that jump at the very end. So we're gonna see how that works again. Oh, okay. Unfortunately, the timing with that fan was kind of off. So we're gonna try that again. There we go. That's what we want to hear. And the thing is, if you about dying in level 36 or level 38, is that it actually isn't like the end of the world because first of all, you have increased speed in this level, and second of all, you have quick respawn, so it's not that bad. Huge photosensitivity warning right now, like huge photosensitivity warning. I'll let you know when it's good to look back because it's still quite bright. Oh, wow. Okay, that is a specific way of messing up that trick that I've never seen before. Usually I'm able to jump, but the game decided to jump for me at a time that I did not want it to jump, which is interesting. There we go. That's better. That's how we wanted it to come out.
Listen, spy! Your crusade is over! James will find you! He will crush you! He will rip you apart! One limb at a time! And it won't be quick. No! You will suffer!
We have a few more cycles to get through here before we finish the run.
To erase you from your miserable existence! Wherever you are,
A few more things left.
this is far from over!
Perfect. And now we're going to do one more cycle right over here. Perfect. That's what we wanted. And that is essentially the run.
You're trapped.
All you have to do is walk down, or let this conveyor belt, or let this bridge bring us to the final area. And that'll be it. We do get our visit from James, this mountain of a man. We think he's here to sabotage us, but he's actually here to sabotage Virgil.
Pest control. The applications for Lightmatter truly are. James, what are you doing?
And James has a mind of his own, heart of his own.
James! You traitor! I thought
Timing is going to end
better than
at the end of this hallway when I pull the lever. Yeah, this has been Lightmatter, any percent, no major glitches.
you want money, power.
I hope that I entertained with this.
Give you anything. And Arthur,
Yeah.
he can have
3,
Lightmatter. Just
2,
think about what you're throwing away.
1,
We can power the world.
time.
We can save humanity.
46, 47, RTA. That's really good. It's actually really good. It's decent. A solid run. One that I'm more than happy with. Alright. Yeah, that is Lightmatter. Any percent, no major glitches. Another small game. We do share a Discord with the like casual players and the developers Discord. We have our own speedrunning channel there. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. And I hope that I convince at least, or I hope that the game convinces at least one person to go download it and play it casually at least. There is a demo to it too. So if you want to go and try that out, you can. We have one more run. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back with that.
Last year, 200,000